The assembly begins Friday morning. The gym was packed. Parents, students, teachers, local townspeople, everyone filled the bleachers. Banners hung from the walls. Lights shone from the rafters. The stage stood ready. Caleb sat backstage, knees shaking uncontrollably. Mr. Dalton walked by, arms crossed. Last chance to back out, he snapped. The world already has enough failed singers. Caleb looked up. For the first time, he didn't look away. I'm not backing out. Mr. Dalton's smirk faded. The performances began. Piano, dance, choir, violin. All classical, all elegant. The crowd applauded politely then. Next, Caleb Morris, performing Dreamer. The room murmured, people whispered. Mr. Dalton inhaled sharply. Caleb stepped onto the stage. The lights blinded him. His heart almost stopped. The song begins. No background music, just a single spotlight. And his voice, the microphone crackled. Caleb swallowed, closed his eyes, whispered, "This is for Ozzy," and began, gazing through the window at the world outside. The first verse echoed across the silent gym. People were shocked. His voice wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished, but it was raw, emotional, real. He reached the chorus, "I'm just a dreamer." A mother in the audience gasped. A student stopped recording and stared. A teacher lowered her hands from clapping and listened, stunned. Mr. Dalton's face turned pale. Caleb poured his entire heart into the song. Every insult, every humiliation, every moment he felt small, he turned it into sound, and the crowd felt every second of it. By the final chorus, people were crying, actual tears. The moment that shocked the town. Caleb held the last note longer than he ever had during practice. When he stopped, the gym was silent, dead silent. And then a single clap, then to then a wave, then a roar, a standing ovation. People stood, students screamed, parents cheered, teachers applauded reluctantly at first, then louder. And then something unbelievable happened. A man at the back of the gym stood up, long black coat, round glasses, silver jewelry, black hair tied loosely. At first Caleb couldn't see clearly, but then the man removed his glasses, wiped a tear, and whispered loud enough for the people near him to hear, "Beautiful kid." The gym fell stunned. People whispered, "Is that? It can't be. No way. That's Ozzy Osbourne." Yes, it was him, Ozzy Osbourne himself, visiting town quietly for a charity event, and he heard a boy was performing Dreamer. He came quietly, no announcement, no spotlight. Just to hear the boy who poured his heart into his music. Caleb froze. Ozzy walked toward the stage. The entire gym gasped. Ozzy looked Caleb in the eyes and said, "Never let anyone tell you your music isn't real. You've got something special, lad." Mr. Dalton nearly collapsed. Students screamed. Parents filmed. The town would talk about this moment for years. The confrontation. Ozzy turned to Mr. Dalton. "So you're the teacher giving him grief?" The gym held its breath. Mr. Dalton stuttered. I was just trying to uphold musical standards." Ozzy shook his head. "You uphold fear, mate. Music isn't about rules. It's about heart. And that boy has more heart than your entire lesson plan." The gym exploded with cheers. Mr. Dalton's authority shattered. A gift from the legend. Ozzy handed Caleb something, a small pin shaped like a bat with outstretched wings. "This was given to me in '94. Ozzy said, "I think it belongs with you now." Caleb trembled. I don't know what to say." Ozzy smiled. "You already said it. You sang A New Beginning." Caleb didn't become the coolest kid in school. He didn't suddenly become popular, but something far more important happened. People respected him. Students who mocked him asked for selfies. Teachers congratulated him. Even Mr. Dalton, humbled and defeated, returned Caleb's notebook with a quiet apology. But for Caleb, the moment that mattered was when he arrived home that evening. His parents hugged him tightly, and after they let go, Caleb whispered, "I'm not done singing." The legend lives on. Weeks later, the story spread online. Millions of views, news articles, radio interviews. People across the world were inspired by the brave boy who sang his truth. Ozzy Osbourne himself sent a signed letter. "Keep dreaming, Caleb. The world needs your voice." Caleb framed it above his bed, and every night, before sleeping, he whispered the line that changed everything. Music is rebellion. If this emotional story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel Voices of Darkness, like this video, share it with your friends. And if you truly love Ozzy Osbourne, prove it. Help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers today. Share this video and let the world hear the legend's spirit. If you love Ozzy, then share this video now and prove your love. If you love Ozzy Osbourne, then this story will hit you right in the heart. Listen carefully, and by the end, you'll understand why the entire town will never forget what happened that day. *** 12-year-old Caleb Morris wasn't popular. He wasn't athletic. He wasn't the kid others invited to parties or lunch tables, but he had one thing the others didn't: a fire in his soul whenever he listened to Ozzy Osbourne. While other kids listened to the latest pop stars, Caleb walked through the hallways with old wired headphones and a scratched MP3 player that carried one artist, one voice, one legend: Ozzy. Caleb didn't dress like a rock star. He didn't have tattoos. He didn't even own a leather jacket. But every page of his black notebook was filled with hand-drawn bats, guitars, lyrics from Dreamer, Crazy Train, and Mama, I'm Coming Home. That notebook was his treasure, and that notebook was the reason everything changed. Enter Mr. Dalton. Mr. Eric Dalton. The school's music teacher had a reputation. He believed modern music was trash. He worshipped Beethoven and Mozart, nothing else. He ran the school choir like a military unit, and he hated rock, especially heavy metal. So when Caleb walked into his class humming Dreamer, Mr. Dalton spotted him like a hawk. What are you listening to? He barked. Caleb hesitated. He always hesitated, but the truth mattered to him. Ozzy Osbourne, sir. The room fell silent. All eyes turned to Caleb. Mr. Dalton laughed loudly, cruelly. Ozzy Osbourne, that noise, that devil-worshipping nonsense. He shook his head dramatically. No wonder you never participate in anything meaningful. The students laughed. Caleb's face reddened. He wished he could disappear. But then Mr. Dalton grabbed Caleb's black notebook. What is this? He flipped through. Bats, dark drawings, lyrics. Oh, this is ridiculous. He held the notebook high. Class, this is what happens when you waste your time listening to a washed-up rock star. More laughter. Caleb's chest tightened. For the first time in his life, he felt something snap. Not anger, not shame, but a deep hurt. A hurt he carried all the way home. A silent dinner. A broken heart. That evening, Caleb didn't touch his food. His mother noticed instantly. What happened at school? Caleb shrugged. Nothing. His father leaned forward. Son, we know when something's wrong. Caleb took a deep breath. Mr. Dalton said, Ozzy is trash. And people laughed. He took my notebook. His parents exchanged a sad look. His father finally spoke. People fear what they don't understand, even teachers. But Caleb wasn't comforted. He told everyone, I'm wasting my life. His mother gently placed a hand on his arm. You're not wasting anything. Music shapes who we are. Then his father said something that sparked everything to come. Caleb, sometimes the world needs to hear your voice, even if it scares you. But Caleb didn't believe he had a voice. Not until the next morning. The announcement that changed everything. Attention students. The PA system crackled. This Friday is the annual School Assembly Talent Showcase. Music, dance, poetry. Students of all grades may participate. And right on cue, Mr. Dalton walked into class with a proud smile. This year, he said, the theme is classical purity. No loud, chaotic genres allowed. Real music only. A few kids snickered and threw glances at Caleb. Mr. Dalton smirked. Don't worry, Caleb, this event is for real talent. You don't have to embarrass yourself. Caleb clenched his fists. A new feeling rose inside him slowly, painfully, but powerfully. Why not? He thought. Why can't I perform? Why should he get to decide what real music is? Later that day, he found himself staring at the sign-up sheet. Name after name. Pop singers, violin players, piano performers, then a blank space. Caleb swallowed hard. He pulled out a pen. With trembling hands, he wrote, Caleb Morris vocal. The performance students around him gasped. Caleb felt dizzy. He had just declared war. The secret practice. Caleb didn't own a microphone. He didn't own speakers. He didn't have fancy equipment. But he had his voice. A voice he had never shared. A voice he wasn't even sure was good, but he tried. Every night he practiced in his tiny room. I'm just a dreamer. I dream my life away. His mother would stand outside the door, tears in her eyes. His father listened silently with pride. But Caleb didn't know something important. The walls were thin, and upstairs lived Mrs. Patterson, a retired music critic and a huge Ozzy fan. One night, after hearing him belt the chorus of Dreamer, she knocked on the door. Caleb froze. She smiled warmly. "Sweetheart, do you know how rare it is for someone your age to sing with such emotion?" Caleb blinked. "You heard me all week, and darling, trust me, Ozzy would be proud." Caleb felt his chest warm. Mrs. Patterson continued, "If you want, I can help train your voice. Just a little polish. The talent is already there." Caleb couldn't speak. He nodded and began the journey he never expected. Training the heart. Mrs. Patterson wasn't just a vocal coach, she was a storyteller. She taught him how. Ozzy performed not with perfection, but with emotion. "Anyone can hit a note," she told him, "but only a few can feel a note." She showed him breath control, stage posture, fear management, and something he hadn't heard before. Music is rebellion. When someone mocks your passion, you sing louder. Caleb trained every day after school, but he didn't tell anyone, especially not Mr. Dalton. The mockery intensifies, word spread quickly. Caleb signed up. He's going to sing. Is he performing some creepy Ozzy song? Every hallway he walked through, someone snickered. When he entered music class, Mr. Dalton sneered, "I hope you're ready to humiliate yourself. If you sing that metal garbage, I'll stop the performance." Caleb didn't respond. He only whispered to himself, "Music is rebellion." The night before the assembly, Caleb stood in front of his mirror, his hands shaking, his heart pounding. What if Mr. Dalton is right? What if they laugh? What if I fail? His father walked into the room. "Son, I used to be afraid too," he said, "until I learned something important. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to show up anyway." Then he handed Caleb a small box. Inside was an old silver cross necklace. "It belonged to your grandfather," his father said. "He wore it the day he fought in a battle he thought he couldn't win. Wear it tomorrow, and fight yours." Caleb hugged him tightly. He slept that night dreaming of a stage, and a legend watching over him.